I'm Anton. Very nice to meet you all. Thank you for joining the talk. Over the next 15 minutes, we are going to be talking about institutional adoption. So if you don't care about institutions, this is definitely not a talk for you. This is literally all we do. But first of all, just to tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do and why we're, I think, uniquely positioned to talk about institutional adoption in crypto assets, I'm going to tell you just a little bit about the firm. So first of all, Talos is an institutional provider of platforms for large institutions. We have, what we do is we connect traditional institutions and crypto-native institutions to the underlying asset class. We provide trading capabilities to those particular institutions. So what we do is, we connect our clients on the buy side and on the sell side to underlying custodians. So we provide multi-custody solutions. We work with multiple custodians to do so. We work with a number of lenders to add the credit capabilities to the ecosystem. We work with exchanges. We work with dealers. We work with prime brokers. So really, our job is to serve as a layer that connects larger institutions to the underlying asset class. And this is actually, it's in the background. In my personal background, this is the background of our entire firm. This is stuff we used to do for the past 15 years, unfortunately. And we've rolled out this kind of infrastructure for the rest of the market. We've done it in foreign exchange. We've done it in fixed income, in treasuries, and futures, and whatnot. Today, our clients are divided. They're obviously globally represented, and we're getting more and more traction in Asia. But generally speaking, we have two types of customers. We have buy-side customers, and those are the hedge funds, systematic trading desks. We have proprietary traders. So anyone, we have asset managers, anyone that's actually trading crypto using their own capital or the capital of their clients are doing, a lot of them are doing that through Talos. And primarily, we target medium to largest organizations. So that's kind of like been our sweet spot so far. But in the past 2 years, we've also added sell-side institutions. And those are the brokers, retail brokers, institutional brokers. We have custodians. We have banks. So those are institutions that are offering crypto trading capabilities to their customers. That's generally our clientele. And as a result of that, we have, I think, about 60% of our clients or 50% of our clients are probably US domiciled. But in the past year, we've seen quite a lot of shift to Asia Pacific. We have quite a lot of customers in Europe, and so we're seeing a diversification effect. As a result, we have a pretty good understanding of what institutional adoption has been in the past 4 years. Obviously, it's through our eyes. So I'm going to walk you briefly through that, and then we'll see where we go from there, and maybe talk a little bit about the future of digital assets. All right. So generally speaking, we founded the company in 2018. Pretty much all of us came out of capital markets, having done a lot of the similar things, and we've seen an evolution of, we started seeing the evolution of crypto asset class, and the realization was very simple. We knew that if there's going to be a serious asset class, institutions will play a very vital role there. So we started building very similar infrastructure to the one that we developed in traditional assets, to allow these institutions to trade. Because institutions obviously need very different tools than the retail sector uses to interact with their underlying asset. We spent probably about a year building that out, and in 2018, the institutional participation was basically aspirational. I think we definitely could not, with a straight face, tell anyone that institutions are here. This was, we knew that we're building towards the future here, and that was kind of like the entire intent. I think around 2019, we were starting, when the infrastructure was getting ready for production, we started getting quite a lot of inbound. And so we started working with crypto-native trading firms to start using our APIs and our UIs to connect through a single point to the rest of the market. At that point, we were offering primarily connectivity services. We were connecting to exchanges, OTC desk. We were doing algorithmic trading and more. And so, that was kind of like the evolution of the firm. We started primarily working with crypto natives, and those were really the first institutions that took the bite. Those are usually the risk-friendly institutions to do so. Over the following couple of years, so especially around 22, we're starting to see a lot more traction from traditional institutions that are starting to come in. And really, these are the multi-asset trading firms. Right? They are actively in the market for equities or for futures or for treasuries, and they're starting to add crypto trading capabilities, and that's kind of like when we start seeing more maturation of the ecosystem. We're seeing custodians, we start seeing risk systems, and obviously our systems were used by these kind of institutions. So we expanded, but still about 100% of our clients were primarily in the buy-side domain, and those were hedge funds or proprietary trading desks. Over the past 2 years, this is kind of like where we've seen the real shift, and this is the first time that we can actually say institutions are here to an extent, right? The institutions in general are obviously not a binary. It's not a binary thing to say whether institutions are in or not. There's there's a gamut of different institutions, and they're coming in at different paces. So what we've seen over the last 2 years have been really the service providers that are starting to get in. And we started seeing this in the United States. We have been interacting with custodians in the United States. We've been interacting with banks, more and more retail brokers. But over the past year, we've seen a lot of maturation, especially in that sector, that basically made us to put additional efforts into especially the dealer portion of our company. And so today, what we have is we have a very large amount of buy-side institutions, but about 50% of the clients for Talos globally are definitely sell-side service providers. So there we're seeing traction on the banking side, on the brokerage side. We're seeing quite a lot of custodians that are coming into the mix and starting to offer trading capabilities through our platform to their customers. And so the one key thing that I did want to mention here, I think that it's quite important, is that while in the rest of the world, in US and in EMEA, we're seeing a fairly balanced distribution between buy-side and sell-side institutions. They're kind of coming in the same clip. In Asia, we've been active in Asia for the past year, and starting January this year, we have a branch of our company in Asia. We've been growing very materially here. In Asia, we've seen kind of like almost like a lopsided effect, which is a little bit counterintuitive for us. We've seen about 70%, I think, of the pipeline actually built up from the service providers. So more and more across the different, APAC is obviously a very big zone, but across the different jurisdictions in APAC, we're seeing more emphasis on service providers that are looking to really build out the scalable solutions to provide access to their underlying customers, whether it's institutions, whether it's retail clients. So kind of interesting, that's where things are trending to. It looks like in Asia, the service provider side is going to be significantly stronger than what we have. And then just to talk about like some of the next things that are coming up, those are obviously some of the logos of larger financial institutions. Some of them are global, some of them are US domiciled, that are interacting with crypto today. And it's safe to say that when you have these kind of organizations that are interacting with crypto, the environment is way more mature than it was 2 years ago, when it was 4 years ago. But where does that actually take the ecosystem, right? For us, what this means is that these kind of players are looking for a much wider tool set, right? So the couple of things that are coming up, we almost divide the world of institutional crypto adoption into these two zones. We're talking about the short term and the long term. On the short term, there's a couple of really known things that need to happen in order to facilitate further adoption of the institutions, right? Regulatory is number one. We've been fielding a lot of questions across all the domains that we're working in around regulatory clarity. Obviously, the United States regulator is starting to push the envelope and actually start coming up with more clarity. But we're seeing this across the world, across EMEA, definitely across APAC and the evolvement of the MAS here. So these type of institutions, the largest ones that are providing traction and providing services to their clients, are looking for that kind of clarity, and that's starting to happen now. Furthermore, the institutions are looking for a broader collection of tools. So while we currently provide capabilities around treasury management, around portfolio management, around trading, we are doing clearing and settlement, there's a lot of additional tools that are still being added to make sure that institutions can actually travel that entire trade life cycle for crypto assets and pretty much do what they're used to do in capital markets. So things like risk and risk engines are becoming very important. And has been featured in this in presentations here a couple of times. Portfolio management systems, back office systems, all the infrastructure that institutions are used to see in other markets are becoming a lot more important. So in the near term, we're looking for a number of vendors that are completing this kind of picture of the digital trade lifecycle. And obviously, quite a lot of things are done under the Talos umbrella as well. And then, on the long term, what we're really thinking is, again, having built a lot of the infrastructure behind capital markets beforehand, it's very easy to see that the world is likely going to be, especially the financial institutional world, is going to be impacted by the infrastructure that digital assets provide. Our biggest bet in the company is that we are definitely going to see other asset classes migrate to digital assets rails. And obviously, that's a completely separate topic and probably not one we can capture in 15 minutes or so. But we see a lot of momentum in terms of how every single asset class will move to digital assets domain and what kind of optimizations can bring about there. So like in short, these are some of the things that we're most excited about. We're seeing a lot of adoption and a lot of infrastructure being built that provides institutions with the ability to complete their life cycle, the trade life cycle, investment life cycle, in a similar way as they do so in capital markets. But more and more, we're starting to look into where is this world actually going. And some of the interesting things is that, again, for us, we started building Talos not because we just wanted to make sure that we get to parity. Parity is interesting. Like, to make sure that the institutions can actually trade digital assets like they trade other asset classes is kind of interesting, but that's not usually why you go into an unknown domain and build it. We really think that some of the capabilities behind digital assets allow us to build better tools, allow us to build an ecosystem, a financial ecosystem that's a lot more transparent, a lot more optimized. And so these are the kind of things that we're thinking about. These are the kind of tools that we're looking, and the kind of partnerships that we're looking to strike going forward. So yeah, this is Talos in a nutshell. Am I forgetting anything? Generally okay? We have 3 minutes and 10 seconds. Any questions? Yeah, I know it's scary to go from there. It doesn't make sense. If you're interested in the institutional space, and especially providing infrastructure in institutional space, feel free to go to our website, talos.com. You can find us on social media, or just come by and talk to us. We have a booth here. That's it. Thank you so much.